Welcome back to our channel, ladies and gentlemen. We are facing a very sad state of affairs that the very president who took oath of office to protect the rights of the citizens has now turned around and is now violating the very rights that he took oath of office to protect. It is now official that it is Okia Omutata versus William Ruto, and to a larger extent Okia Omutata against CJ Martha Koome. Kenyans are now being forced to run to the courts to protect them against the tyranny that this government has turned to. Okia Omutata had threatened in Busia, and he told William Ruto face to face that he would go to court to seek legal intervention against the unpopular Finance Bill 2023. He made good his threat today after listening to William Ruto's maiden speech on Madaraka Day at Embu Stadium, because William Ruto virtually protected and defended his actions and said that Kenyans have embraced the idea of the finance bill. And someone else was asking me, what is really contained in the finance bill? And what is really causing a lot of tension? Number one, you all know that we have a 3% mandatory deduction if this bill is passed into law, that every employee is going to be compelled to deduct 3%. That is going to what William Ruto calls an opportunity to own an affordable housing. While the opponents of this are arguing that this is a tax that they are going to force Kenyans to pay, William Ruto is saying that this is not a tax. He claims this is a levy that every employee would scoop after retirement. This finance bill also seeks to increase the VAT, value-added tax on fuel, from 8% to 16%. It goes without saying that this will increase the cost of production and transport and everything, and this will be transferred to the consumers and retailers. It also seeks to impose a 16% withholding tax on content creators. And I heard my friend Story Punchline really commenting on this very seriously, because he was saying that the government has not even assisted in any way the content creators, that William Ruto had promised that he would give free Wi-Fi. He has not yet, is coming to deduct them. And then it is also seeking to increase to increase taxes on beauty products like wigs. The way I call them fake nails, I don't know the term to use, fake nails, the beauty products. So they are going to really increase. And you know, this beauty section has really employed quite a number. So people might just lose jobs. And basically that is what it is. And among the other things that Okia is arguing about is that this bill violates Kenyans' rights. Number one, he said that you cannot force a Kenyan to submit taxes because you want to give them property. He says that this is in violation of a Kenyan's right. And he says that another thing is the violation of the freedom to own property, because he says you could want to buy some house, for example, in Busia, yet William Ruto has built, in conjunction with the stakeholders, certain houses in Pangani. So you are being forced that you must own a house in Pangani if you don't want. So Okia Omutata says that this is in breach of the freedom to own property, and he has now moved to court, and we are hoping that the court will understand. My only problem with the petition is one. I'm very skeptical about our judiciary, especially after I saw the Chief Justice, Madam Martha Koome, elegantly appearing in a very expensive Toyota sports car, and it has really elicited a lot of reaction. People like Abdel Nasir, lawyer Patrick Lumumba, Kenyans have gone to the social media and they have condemned, because they are saying Just the other day, Madam Martha Koome said, complained that we don't have toilets, sufficient toilets in our courts. We don't have enough staff. Cases really take too long to be heard, and this is hindering justice. And we looked at it and we were thinking, do we have a judiciary that has got priority? Because when we see her in such an expensive vehicle that is bought and serviced by taxpayers' money, then we are wondering, are we looking at justice or an individual? Because already we were told that the Chief Justice enjoys a fleet of cars, 2 Mercedes-Benz, 2 Prados and all that. So the reason I'm saying that I'm really scared about this bill is there is a cordial relationship that is appearing to occur between the judiciary and the executive, which should be a good thing. But in this sense, the judiciary is not independent. They've been compromised. If you look at the kind of ruling that they gave during the Supreme Court, Raila versus Ruto petition, with the terms that were used like wild goose chase and all that, and then we look at Madam Martha Koome, something is not adding up. I'm trying to join the dots. This has been compromised, and I don't know whether we will get justice, because as it is now, our only hope is the judiciary, our courts. When we are confronted with the GMO thing, we have to run to the courts. When we are confronted about the LGBTQ, it is unfortunate that it is the courts that introduced it through the back door. And what makes it even more painful is that even the executive always goes against the rulings of the court. The other day, the Law Society of Kenya ran for legal redress in courts concerning the 50 chief administrative secretaries, and the courts ruled in their favor. But William Ruto, in defiance, has decided that these people must continue work, and they're in offices illegally. The judiciary cannot do anything. And this is why I'm worried. This battle between Okia, Omutata and Madam Martha Koome, where is it going to end? Because our last hope is the judiciary. Just like in the case of electoral justice, once the IEBC has done, in their own wisdom or lack of the same, to give victory to a one candidate, the disgruntled one must now run to court, because that is the only hope. And then when the courts also decide to play their mischief, then that is the end of it. And that's why I'm saying that all eyes are on Madam Martha Koome, especially after yesterday and the events that have occurred. Will we get justice? Will the courts dispense justice? I understand that they tried in the case of there's 50 CS and even in the GMO they have suspended it. But on this one, because William Ruto wants it as bad, he wants this bill to pass because he wants that money. Because he was arguing that this money will be used as guarantee to the investors who are coming to partner with Kenyans to buy to construct these houses. And so he will do anything and everything to make sure that it passes. My question is, will the courts dispense justice? Because if they don't, ladies and gentlemen, the ball is on our courts now. We must go to the streets. I'm one person who believes that all over the world, whether in Sri Lanka or Philippines, where the government will only listen to one thing, this freedom of picketing that we were given. An expert was telling me that the reason why we had an attempted coup in 1982 is because our hands were tied. We didn't have a way of expressing our anger, our disappointment. We had to sit there, complain in our houses, but the drafters of the constitution decided that even to help governments, so that we don't have people regrouping to plan on how a coup would happen, we were given the freedom to go to the streets. I don't know what is going to happen, but I'm a proponent of the idea that people must go to the streets, because it is the only language that the government will listen to. Okia Omutata must be very careful. He's a man who's very synonymous with controversy. I first saw him chaining himself in the courts some 10 years back. And then in the Supreme Court, he took a center stage. In fact, the Azimio fraternity had heaped their hopes in Okia's petition. And if you ask many experts, he was the only hope. He's been there. He's been helping Kenyans. And William Ruto, of course, pleaded with him not to go to the courts, but he has made good his threat. The ball is on Madam Martha Koome's court, and we want to see, is she going to side with an oppressive government, or she's going to side with the oppressor? We are looking at her. In fact, ask many and they will tell you that when this regime claimed that there was state capture in the previous regime, what we have today is even more traumatizing. This is the most traumatizing state capture, be it institutions like the DPP's office, the IEBC, and the courts. This is an opportunity for the courts to really prove that they are independent, because independence is needed in that institution. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what to think, but a legal battle is looming. Let's wait and see. We pray that this is not forced down our throats. That is my take.